I'm an old and bald guy. I worked for 3 decades in tech and entrepreneurship across US and India. At this stage in my career, I wanted to do something with a big technical challenge, with a wider and deeper impact. We believe that India as a nation has the capability to lead the transition towards a greener and sustainable future. Hi, my name is Bhaktha Keshavachar. I am the CEO and co-founder of Chara Technologies, a deep tech startup based out of Bangalore. Chara stands for motion in Sanskrit, motion or movement. Motion is fundamental for all human beings. At Chara, our goal is to enable this motion in a sustainable way. What we do at Chara is we want to disrupt the motor industry. We want to build sustainable and efficient motors. Today, most of the motors that are used have magnets in them. The neodymium ferrous boron magnets, which need the rare earth metals to make them magnetic. The rare earths have a few problems. They're expensive. They're extremely difficult to mine and extract. There are sociological and economic issues in mining and extraction. And also, one country, our friendly neighbor, has like 90% control over the supply chain. And so what we do at Chara is build sustainable and efficient motors without the use of rare earths for various applications. As I mentioned, I have spent 3 decades in both tech and entrepreneurship across US and India. I always saw the potential to make a meaningful impact, something that is beyond profits, something that is beyond money, to create a impact not only to this nation and to the rest of the world. And at this juncture, I saw that there's a huge energy transition that is happening. We are moving from hydrocarbons to electrons for our energy. And that is when we zeroed on this idea of building this sustainable and efficient motor, because motor will be at the heart of every electrical machine. And this is what led us to build these motors which are sustainable, efficient, and rare earth free. So before starting Chara, I was a co-founder of another company called EasyTab. We exited that, not having learned my lessons in entrepreneurship. I wanted to start another company. Considering my age, I'm in the mid-50s. This was my last kind of contribution to the society, to giving back something that is more meaningful and impactful. One of the problems I saw that when I wanted to start on this journey of Chara is that India as a nation, as a society, has not invested in core technologies. We are still dependent on foreign sources for all our core technologies, whether it is semiconductors, jet engines. And now with this transition happening from hydrocarbons to electrons, we do not want to be in a position where we are again dependent on foreign sources for our materials and technology and products. That was the main goal in building Chara. The secondary goal in building Chara was that we wanted to build a deep tech product startup from India, deploy it in India, and take it to the rest of the world. So what we call as build in India, made for world. We started this journey in 2019, late 2019, November of 2019, just as the pandemic was enveloping the planet. So we are a classic COVID company. We started with COVID. We suffered. Luckily, the most prestigious institution in this country, Indian Institute of Science, gave us a grant to build our first product. Apart from all other people, the government of India also thinks that solving this rare earth problem is strategic in nature. That's where we started our journey. Then we built our first prototype, started testing it, faced a lot of problems. Then we got our first customer contract in late 20, So after getting a grant from the Indian Institute of Science in 2020, this was at the peak of COVID. We started building our first prototype. We got a one bedroom out of a big bungalow which was occupied by another company. That is myself and two other gentlemen. We started building, we started testing, and then right after that, we got our first customer contract to build a motor for a air conditioning equipment. And based on that, we raised our first institutional funding, led by Kalari and IIM Ahmedabad Ventures. Uh, that is when we built the team. One of the big problems in building a motor and controller is that it's highly multidisciplinary. We need folks from electromagnetics, hardware, mechanicals, and software. So we built the team and we started building more prototypes. We took about 3 years in developing fundamental R&D. And this is when we faced the brunt of the problems. Every, every prototype we tested, there were a bunch of issues, but we kept on going. And then after about 3 years in late 23 is when we had the products to sell. Um, at this point, I have to mention one thing. The externalities around us, the geopolitics that are happening in the world, have helped our mission. So more people are aware about rare earths than before. Then in late 23, we started building a factory. We not only do the design, we not only build, we not only test, we manufacture at our own facility. The biggest problem we faced while selling the motors is that the customers were asking, where have you deployed this technology? This is brand new technology. Um, what are the long-term reliability and safety issues? And of course, large customers do not like to work with startups because we are small. So we overcame all those problems, started selling to smaller companies where the risk appetite is more, and then now we have large companies in our product portfolio too. The the biggest problems we faced in this journey are the following three. One is it is still difficult to find core engineering talent in India. I think a lot of people do software, but finding people who can do electromagnetics, mechanicals, thermals, hardware is very hard. The second problem is we are a deep tech hardware company. Finding capital, patient capital for companies like us is hard. We take about 5 to 6 years to come to revenue. And that was the second biggest problem. The third problem is the customers. Because we are introducing a brand new technology, customers are reluctant to use our reluctance motors. The uh, when we deploy these motors in large quantities this financial year, this will not only be the first of its kind in India, it will be the first of its kind in the world. And that is a feather in the cap where we really are looking for. In terms of goals, revenue goals and deployment goals, uh, we just started deploying motors from last quarter. We have a few hundred motors out in the field with various customers. Our goal is to deploy 15,000 motors this financial year. And then the larger goal is, of course, deploy 1 million motors by the end of the decade. This journey is going to be long and hard, but fortunately, the externalities around us are helping us deploy our products at a much faster fashion. Uh, we, we have customers in India, about 30 plus customers who have placed the initial orders, and some of them are scaling up. We also want to go global. We have 2 orders from Europe in different applications. We're also in advanced talks to getting a customer order from US. So our goal of building a product from India and taking it to the rest of the world is finally happening. We want it to happen in large numbers over the next few years. In terms of impact, uh, I think one of the things we aspire to do is that we want to be recognized as the center of excellence for motor design in this country and potentially at a global level. The second one is when we deploy this 1 million motors, since our motors are sustainable, which don't use the dirty rare earths, our carbon footprint of our motors is far smaller than the carbon footprint of the existing motors. When we deploy these 1 million motors, it's equivalent to planting 10 million trees on this planet. And that is the kind of impact we want to show. The reason I'm saying that is hitting this 15,000 motors this year and the million motors by the end of the decade is not only about revenue, it's also about to prove that we can develop a deep tech product company from India and to prove that we can build sustainable and rare earth free motors, and it's a viable technology for this country and the rest of the world. So Chara is a deep tech company. One of the distinguishing features of a deep tech company is that it takes several years to do the basic R&D, build the product, find the product market fit, and then generate revenue. So it is a fairly long journey by the standards of startups in terms of product deployment and revenue generation. And the risk is also high because the technology sometimes don't pan out and the externalities change. Uh, so we have done this initial fundamental R&D for the first 2 years. That is where we figured out what technology works. The next 2 years has been developing the product, and now we are in our fifth year. We are going into sixth. This is where we have started deploying products and generating revenue. And this is the year where we will generate significant revenue and show that the technology works by deploying products with customers in India and the rest of the world. Our target for this financial year, starting from this month, is to deploy 15,000 motors, which will generate a revenue of $5 million, that is equivalent to about 40 crores. So this will be a huge seal of approval for our team, for our technology, and for the products that we are deploying at various industries. Our product has been deployed in electric vehicles, two-wheelers and three-wheelers, industrial equipment, agricultural equipment, and defense equipment. So we have a wide range of customers, which kind of reduces our risk in terms of deployment. At Chara, we have developed this new technology, which is called synchronous reluctance motors with ferrite magnet assist. This technology was known to the world. The original paper goes back to like 200 years ago, 1838. Nothing was deployed because of a bunch of fundamental engineering reasons. We have solved all those engineering problems. By the way, in the process, we have filed about a dozen patents. So we are an IP-rich company developing a new technology. After this 5 long years of hard work and building a team, we now have the products which we are selling. In terms of impact, I think the following 3 are important. One is that we have become the center of excellence for motor design in this country and potentially to the rest of the world. We have also proven that we can build a rare earth free powertrain, which can be deployed in many applications. And at a broader level, of course, we have shown that a deep tech, first of its kind product can be developed from India with minimal resources and deploy it both in India and the rest of the world. Entrepreneurship is a hard journey, and building a business is doubly hard. So there were a few lessons I have learned in my journey for the past 5 years that I wish I knew before. One is that you always have to focus on the vision. We should never waver from that. We need to have that complete focus on the vision and making it real. There will be a lot of roadblocks and friction in achieving this vision, but I think if you stick to the vision, there's a good chance of being successful. The next one is you have to build a team which can work on the vision and deliver the vision. Generally, there are entrepreneurs who think that they can do it all, but the team is key. And the last one is, of course, never stop innovating. We are in a tech world. If you don't innovate, the world is always changing. and you'll be left behind. I think those are the three big lessons I have learned. At a behavioral level, beyond this, what I have seen is that entrepreneurs should have a goal that is beyond money, fame, and career, the usual things we strive for. Uh, the reason is that, as I mentioned, entrepreneurship is a hard and long journey. Um, if you stick to this money, fame, and career goals, there are times you'll get seriously disappointed. So you have to have a larger goal. For me, the larger goal was the sustainability. I think we have screwed up the climate in this planet, and we need to do something, and everybody has to do their small part. What I've learned, I've spoken to many economists and people in power, people of influence. What I've realized is that entrepreneurship is the engine that drives the economy. From the smallest chai wala at the end of the street to a deep tech company from Bengaluru, uh, all these entrepreneurs are driving this economy. They are the ones creating the jobs, creating the GDP, creating new products which will further enhance the well-being of the society. During this journey, you will figure out who you are, what drives you, and what you're good at. So I think once you achieve these three things, uh, there is a lot of self-actualization that helps the entrepreneur and the rest of the society happy starting up. So the biggest learning for me in building Chara is that uh, we have identified three key stakeholders in our company, in no particular order: um, investors, employees, and customers. Uh, we we developed this art of storytelling uh, to sell our vision and show the impact to all the three key stakeholders. And we still continue to do the same. That is one of the biggest lessons I've learned building Chara. Um, as an engineer, as a trained engineer, uh, I was an introvert till my old age. And this is one of the hardest things for me to learn, and it has paid off big dividends. I think that is one of the big things I always want to tell to budding businessmen or entrepreneurs. You have to learn the art of storytelling.